because you have been there for a year now, yes, you need to start going out and putting yourself out there in terms of friendships, in terms of girls. You know, the no family thing where you can't move your family there, the no money thing. You have a job and you're building a business network, so yeah, that's something else you're gonna have to work on. But I get the feeling from what you said that you're coming from a scarcity mindset, and that's hampering your sort of overall mindset in the area. So you really need to go out and start working on that by what I've just suggested, is putting yourself out there. Okay, Brian Edward. Quick background. Welcome Steve and welcome John. I have a total of 4 days per week to dedicate to day gaming and dates over the next 6 weeks. So far, all of my approaches are solo. Okay, so a total of 4 days per week, that's good. I'm struggling to get more than 10 approaches in a session. Can you talk about pacing when you're out in day gaming? I usually allocate 3 to 5 hours and have a goal to do 10 to 20 approaches, but it's tough. Day gaming is hard at times. I go indirect or direct, and there is no shortage of targets where I am. Okay, so this is just point one in that, because that's a good question. You're doing the right thing, you're going out, you're setting targets. 3 to 5 hours is excellent, that's a really long time to do 10 to 20 approaches. Okay, that's good. Those sorts of numbers are good. That's, you know, depending on how long you're actually interacting with them, those are actually honestly pretty good numbers, man. You know, there was one day where I just walked around Sydney for 3 hours and I maybe got 10 approaches in, but 6 or 7 of those I would have spent 10 to 20 minutes with a girl, right? So it's all relative to how long you're actually staying in there with a girl. So I can't really get more clear on that, but I don't think there's much more that you can do than that. They're pretty good numbers. If there's no shortages of targets, then, you know, just keep doing that. That's fine. If you're not getting results, that's, you know, a different kettle of fish altogether. But those sorts of numbers are okay, and you're obviously dedicating a lot of time to it, perhaps maybe too much time. A 5-hour session during the day is quite long. I'd maybe cut it down and break it up a little bit more, so maybe that's burning you out a little bit or something. Okay, second question. I've been trying to be somewhat discreet when I day game, but I'm in a big city, so maybe I don't need to be. And the only day gamer and the only white guy around. But why not just find a single place to camp out at, stay there, and then just approach hard, go direct, and play that out for a coup of 100 approaches over 8 days, 25 a day. I thought I was going to do this, but it didn't quite work out that way. Okay, there is a walkway in between 2 malls that has a ton of sexy girls to approach during peak times. 1 girl every 5 or 10 minutes should be easy, in theory. However, I am constantly having thoughts in my head, such as maybe the girl I opened yesterday who rejected me hard, I will accidentally open her again, or maybe security people will kick me out of here, or other scenarios, usually negative stuff. I would like to reprogram my mind to focus on the fact that if I do the 200 approaches, I can surely bang at least a certain number, but maybe my mind needs more evidence that this is going to work. Okay, have you guys ever tried this type of strategy or seen others do it in day game? Okay, where there are not others doing day game. Also, I'm interested in your thoughts on programming your mind to focus on the positive gold infield and ignore the noise. Okay, good stuff, man. Good stuff. What immediately stands out to you is that you're making it too much of a numbers game. Okay, so you're like kind of sitting down with the equations and working it out. 1 girl every 5 to 10 minutes. 200 approaches, all these sorts of numbers. Okay, and you're getting these numbers and getting into a little calculator and trying to work it out. Okay, now that's okay and good in terms of setting goals, but you really need to stop worrying more about that and focusing on the actual interactions and the actual results and the connection. Because I get the feeling that you're just like, okay, well, I just start approaching all these girls and eventually, you know, it'll come good, or eventually, you know, through sheer numbers of approaches, I'm going to get results here, okay? And that's not really the way you want to think about it. The way you want to think about it is, okay, I have time here. Now I'm just going to be in the moment and approach as many girls as I can see and connect with them as well as I can and be the best that I can be, and results will come that way. Okay? I hope that makes sense, and maybe I'm reading your question a little bit wrong, but from what you've written here, that seems to be the way you're going about it. It's just like, it's a little bit too focused on the logical, mathematical side of the game, which is, I don't think it's the best way to go about it. Whenever I'm walking around during the day or when I've got a couple of hours, you know, I'm not even thinking about how many girls I'm going to approach or how many I need to approach. I'm just like, this is our girl, I'm going to connect with her. This is our girl, I'm going to talk to her. And, you know, half an hour's passed or an hour's passed or 2 hours have passed, and it hasn't really even crossed my mind as to, you know, how many girls I've talked to. I come back to the example of me walking around for 3-4 hours in Sydney, and I actually hadn't, you know, that was 2 months ago, and I only just sat down a few weeks ago on a past boot camp and actually realised how many girls I'd actually talked to and how successful that day actually was. But by no means was I counting or documenting it. I was just coming from a place of, I just want to meet girls. I just want to be fun and friendly and convey my intent as a man. I think if you come at it from that angle and sort of just take away the numbers approach, because you're obviously going out and doing it, it's not that you need the motivation to go out and do it, I feel. It's just that you need to be more present and focus more on the connection and the girl itself and yourself rather than the numbers behind it. But I'm actually interested to see what city you're in. I know I spoke to you before, Brian, but I'm not sure exactly where you live. But the only white guy... Okay, you're in Las Vegas. Wow. I find it hard to believe that you're the only white guy there. But yeah, but Las Vegas is cool, man. You're pretty lucky to be living there. Pretty jealous, actually. Okay, another Tinder. Okay, CJ Napoli, you've got a few questions here. I'm going to finish up these real quick, guys, and then I'll get into all your Tinders, okay? Oh, Manila. Oh, okay, sorry, you're from Las Vegas. Okay, yeah, that's right. Sorry, man. That makes sense with the black guys. But you'll be the minority there, you'll be a different breed, so women will find you attractive. But having said that, and coming back to you very quickly, if there are one girl every 5 to 10 minutes, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Pretty good location to be in. So keep at it. Did that make sense to you though, or about the numbers and that sort of stuff? Okay, CJ Napoli. With both Happn and the Bumble dating apps, does it have the same algorithm as Tinder whereby you swipe right or click on the love heart for Happn too much, rather than for only those girls you actually want? Okay, I'll be perfectly honest with you, I'm not sure about the Happn and Bumble algorithms. I have used both, but I haven't had anywhere near the amount of success that I have had as on Tinder, okay? So I'd focus on Tinder first, get that happening, and then once you're getting some sort of traction there, then transition to those other apps, okay? If you are going in Tinder first, like, look, I've had a shit ton of results on Tinder, but very little on Happn or very little on Bumble. So what does that say to you? There's much more people on Tinder, and there's a much greater chance of success on Tinder than there is on those other things. Once you've got a certain amount of results on Tinder, then I would suggest hitting up Bumble and Happn and those sorts of things. But until then, I just wouldn't worry about it. I don't know the algorithms on them. Yeah, the charm button on Happn it's weird, man. Let me put it this way, I wouldn't be disheartened by any lack of results on Happn at all. Happn's very weird, and I actually know heaps of guys that are really good on Tinder, and I've like gone, oh, you should try Happn, man, or give it a shot, and I'm interested to see what the results, and they're like, nah, it didn't happen, right? It just didn't work, and they're like, fuck this, they go back to Tinder. So I wouldn't get disheartened about Happn at all, and that charm button. Day game question. What is the general number of girls you should approach per day, per week that is both sustainable, where you do not burn out / remain passionate and motivated, and also not burn out your options? Too many approaches and every girl starts to know you, and then you've killed your options in your city, okay? This brings me back, actually, to Brian, your question as well. I wouldn't worry about being spotted by other girls or other guys or anyone in that area. It's kind of like a natural thing. They were like, oh, I wonder what these girls are going to think about me approaching. Are they going to see me? Are they going to see me talking to all these other girls? No, especially if like you're in a big mall, a big city. What you're thinking is not actually going to happen. And it's kind of just in your mind. Like, I know there's a lot of guys that want to go away and do boot camps and do 4-week naturals in another city so that they're taken out of their... Oh, hey, CJ. We're just addressing your question. It's funny that as soon as I'm talking about someone's question, it's uncanny how they just tend to join. But anyway, yeah, I wouldn't worry about burning out your options in a city or being caught or being acknowledged or recognised or any of that. That's more so in your head, and it's actually a lot less likely than you think. So the key thing is what I'm doing here is fine, what I'm doing here is normal, it's not a big deal, it's not an issue. And you know, you're never going to kill the options in your city, like unless you're in a really, really small city. Like I'm in a small city in Perth, or what's deemed to be a small city. It's like supposedly the most isolated city in the world, and there's just a ton of options. You think maybe you're going to kill your options, but it's not happening. It's unless you're in a village, don't worry about it at all, okay? And who cares if they notice you? Like, what is she going to do? Oh, that guy's talking to a girl. She's not going to go tell all her friends, or she's not going to go tell her mom or her boyfriend, and all of a sudden there's just going to be a big group of people that are like, hey, what's that guy doing? He's talking to these girls, that's not on. Fuck, we better, put a stop to this or, like, take action. Like, that's not going to happen. And in fact, if you can... Hey, Andreas, if you can handle that and you can, like, cut that out of your life, like, if you can cut out that thinking or that kind of, like, subconscious action that, what you're doing is wrong or that other girls are looking, if you can actually cut that out, it'll be so much more attractive to the woman because you'll actually see that this guy just doesn't care about what's happening, like, and it's like when you go and approach a mixed set, okay, and the girl's like, oh wow, this guy has balls for coming up and talking to me when there's other guys around. Like, he obviously doesn't care too much, or he's, he just is decisive in what he wants and he goes for it. Okay, it's the same in day game when girls can sense that you're just coming up without that sort of idea that you're being watched. It's just a much more attractive and natural process and interaction to the woman. So you really kind of want to do whatever it takes. Just go, this is fine, this is normal, I'm not going to worry about that. The general number of girls you should approach per day, per week, and what's most sustainable, okay? I don't want to give you numbers, but I want to give you time slots and time periods, okay? And then from there, it's about how many, as long as you're making sure that you're sort of going from girl to walking a little bit to girl, and you're sort of like making slow, steady progress, that's okay as long as you're not walking around for like 10 minutes without saying anything to anyone or walking around. You really want to be approaching everyone, or at least someone every 5 minutes when you've left a girl to your next girl, right? So let's kind of like give you a time frame or basis. I would say if you really want to focus on day game, 2 sessions a week for day game is good, and I'd want to set aside maybe 2 or 3 hours in those sessions, so a total of 4 to 6 hours. Now, I'm not going to say, okay, you need to approach 10 girls, you need to approach 20 girls, because as I just said, that figure is very relevant on how long you're actually spending in set with the girls, right? As I said, there was a time in Sydney, I walked around for, I think, 4 hours or something, approached maybe 8 to 10 girls, but was in set with 6 of them for really solid interactions of 20 to 30 minutes. And these are all documented in the program, and there'll be a lot of those coming up. But it's kind of like, okay, after 5 minutes of walking around not doing anything, you kind of want to be like, okay, what's next? What girl's next? Who can I talk to? What's happening here? If you're leaving it for longer than 10 minutes and there's no girls around, then you kind of want to be like, okay, come on, I've got to do this. I'm wasting my time here. Am I just going to walk around, or am I going to talk to girls? Okay, I've set aside 2-3 hours of my day, 5 hours in Brian's case. Yeah, you want to be talking to someone at least every 5 to 10 minutes, really. But I understand there's some guys out there that just want to set goals and they're just getting into it. Hey, Jesus. So to give you a number, I would say 10 per session. 10 per session two day game sessions a week. 3 if you're not going out at night and you have more